So then guys, we've had the M4 Pro inside the likes of the MacBook Pro and also the Mac Mini now for a couple of weeks. And funny enough, one of the most interesting questions I keep getting asked is which one is better, the M4 Pro in here or the M4 Pro in this? Well, what I've done is I've actually bought both of the M4 Pro, different sort of versions you can get. So what I'm talking about here, I'm talking about the 12-core CPU and the 16-core GPU, and then also the 14-core CPU and 20-core GPU sort of version out there. All of them set with 24 gigabytes of RAM. I could have brought more RAM, but could you imagine how many sort of Mac Minis and MacBook Pros I'd have out on this table right now? So that is what I've been actually fiddling around with to see what the big differences are, and also to show you which one is probably better for your needs. Now, obviously, one of them is a laptop or a MacBook, and one of them is something that sits on your desktop. And starting out with the MacBook Pro with the M4 Pro in it, with the actual design of this MacBook Pro really hasn't changed a lot at all. The only kind of major differences that we've actually got with this is obviously we've got Thunderbolt 5 ports now in those USB-C port sort of areas. And then also we do have a brighter screen inside of this, and also the choice of nano texture too. But it's the same design as we had with the M3 Pro, the M2 Pro and the M1 Pro 14-inch model. Whereas with the Mac Mini, we have a brand new design this time round, which is pretty cool. A lot of people love it, and I am definitely one of those fans out there who love this new design, and especially that we've got the power of an M4 Pro inside of this in something so small. I think that's just amazing out there. But I know what you guys want to know is, well, what about the sort of speed differences between both of these? Is there any real differences there? Well, I'll tell you all about that right after today's sponsor. So then guys, just quickly a word from today's sponsor, and that is Bittrex24. Bittrex24 is an all-in-one business solution to communicate, collaborate on tasks, plan, automate, and complete projects. It can be used by entrepreneurs, it can be used by small businesses, or even large enterprises. It's really flexible. In Bittrex24, you can get organized with creating tasks with deadlines, checklists, time tracking, collaborate on projects and charts, organize video calls with screen sharing, share on documents and files, all inside the Bittrex24 interface. You can choose anything from Kanban boards or Gantt charts or even Scrum or calendar, or even make a simple list of tasks, whichever works for you and for your team. On top of this too, Bittrex24 allows you to automate tasks as well, what's really useful. So you can automate a wide variety of different operational routines that help increase productivity inside of your team. So you can set up things like a notification, for example, to happen, or let's say an email to be pinged to somebody when a task has got to a certain sort of status. And there are so many different kind of automations and other tasks. And then the cool thing is that you can set up the task in Bittrex24 to be automated to work, say, every day, once a week, once a month, or any other kind of custom period. It is truly flexible to help you out. The great thing is Bittrex24 is available online, and also there is a free app what you can also use too. And if you want to check out Bittrex24, well, you can do that right now, and it's free of charge, and all the information is in the description of this video, and also I'll be linking to that too. So what are you waiting for? Automate and make your job more efficient with Bittrex24. So the big question to a lot of you tech guys out there, what's the difference then between this sort of M4 Pro, the two different versions? Is there any kind of speed differences between both of these? Well, to surprise you or not, as you can see here, starting out with the disk speed, well, really, they are neck and neck. You can actually see here that the read speed on the MacBook Pro and M4 Pro, the 512 gigabyte option, well, you know, look at the speed we're getting here. 4,948 in read speed compared to 4,932. And I ran this test 3 times, and this was the averages that I was getting here. And then the same with the write speeds. You can actually see here with the M4 MacBook Pro, it's 4,281 compared to 4,308. In the grand scheme of things, we're talking NAND lottery here. The SSD kind of speeds, they're the lottery. So, you know, if you go and pick yourself up a MacBook Pro right now, or Mac Mini with an M4 Pro inside of it, and did these exact same tests, you might get slightly higher than me, you might get slightly lower than me. But looking back at the chart here, you can see they're pretty much neck and neck. There's no sort of difference. Apple have provided the same sort of NAND chips in both of these. So again, these are just neck and neck. So really, I wouldn't actually worry that one's faster than the other, because you are getting the exact same same speeds. But then moving on then, what about say CPU speeds? What sort of differences are we going to be getting there with single core and multi-core performance? Or if there is any differences? Well, let's take a look. Well, as you can see, really, there is nothing in it. Just look at the single scores, sort of score here. They're all within range of each other. Look at that, look, 3,910, and the lowest one we've got is 3,892. There is nothing in it whatsoever in the single core scores. And the same thing again, I've done these tests 3 times to get the averages, and these are the averages of all those single core scores. And then the same for multi-core performance. You can see the difference. Obviously, we've got the 12-core versions, and also we've got the 14-core versions, and obviously there are the differences there. But look, compare the two 12-core differences, 20,128 to 20,132. That's 4 points, nothing in it. And then again, the same thing, 22,618 to 22,605 with the 14 core. Again, we're talking nothing here in the kind of sort of difference. We're talking a score of 13. It is nothing. You're really not going to get a better machine out of both of these. They are the exact same chip that's inside both of these devices. And just to prove the point here, I even ran Cinebench 2024, and have a look here. Look at the single core score. That is no joke. I've not copied and pasted. That is the actual score we got. We've got single core of 177 on all of these devices. And then for multi-core performance, look how close they are. They're within 1 point of each other for the 12 core and also for the 14 core. There is nothing in it whatsoever. So again, you're really not going to be losing out here whatsoever. They are literally identical. But then you might be thinking, well, what about graphics scores, Matt? What's going on here then with the graphics? Is there any differences there? Well, just for the fun of it, I just run Geekbench 6 Metal Score, the scoring system, and have a look at the chart here. You can see here the 16-core version of the GPU in the MacBook Pro and also the Mac Mini. Again, nothing in it within the score. You're not going to notice the difference. 99,791 to 99,853. Nothing at all. And the same with the MacBook Pro, the 20-core version of this to the 20-core Mac Mini M4 Pro. Again, nothing in it. 110,489 to 110,522. Really, there is nothing in it for the actual graphics kind of differences. And just in case you wanted to know, I didn't run another graphics test. I just ran Tomb Raider, and I wanted to see what that was like, just to see in sort of a check here in gaming to see if there's any differences there. Well, take a look and have a look for yourselves. And you can see that I ran this at a high setting at 1920 by 1200. Obviously, I could push this even further if I wanted to, but I'm not wanting to do that. I just wanted to get the same test results. I wanted to get the exact same results at the same resolution to see what score we would get. And you can see then the difference. There is nothing, again, I would actually say the Mac Mini is like 1 or 2 frames per second faster than maybe the M4 Pro inside the MacBook Pros, mainly possibly because of the fan inside of it, a bit more air to breathe, I would say. But really, would you actually notice that extra frame or 2 frames per second? Probably not. There's no differences here whatsoever. And then the last test what I decided to do was actually export my famous Mac Mini kind of video that I've done, and did that as a 10-minute HEVC Final Cut Pro export in 4K, and saw how long that took to actually export the files. And you can see here in the chart that really they were all neck and neck. What's quite funny actually to see is that the MacBook Pro with the M4 Pro, the 12 core was 231 seconds, and actually the most beefiest Mac Mini with the M4 Pro, the 14 core, actually took slightly longer by about 3 seconds. But really, it's nothing. 3 seconds or 4 seconds, you're not going to notice that difference whatsoever. We're talking the exact same chip. And just in case you also wanted to know, I also ran Cinebench 2024 on a 10-minute cycle to see what temperatures that both of these got up to. And you can see here, really, they are neck and neck. There's nothing really in it. Maybe the M4 Pro Mac Mini keeps it slightly cooler, but really not going to be anything. Apple allows their chips to go up to 100 degrees, as you can see, or even slightly more than 100. And really, there are no problems whatsoever. Both the fans were whirring, both the fans were making noises, and I could actually still use either the MacBook Pro or the Mac Mini to do kind of light tasks with just running, like browsing the web and things like this, and I wasn't really noticing any kind of throttling kind of issues. They both performed around about the same. So we know from these results then, if you're going to buy the exact same sort of, let's say, the 12-core sort of CPU and let's say the 16-core GPU in either of these, then you're going to get really the exact same performance. The same if you went for the actual 14-core CPU and 20-core GPU, you're going to get really the exact same performance again. There's going to be no differences whatsoever with that. I think what it goes down to simply is what is better for you. The MacBook Pro costs more money. It starts out at almost about $2,000. You can get some better deals on Black Friday right now. And then with this one, it's starting at around about $1,400. And then again, you can get some good deals on that, bringing that down a bit. And I think it's down to, like I say, it's down to a preference. A lot of people are now putting these in backpacks and things and taking it around when using their iPad as a screen. Like I made a video about a week ago about this. And other people also using MacBook Pros with the M4 Pro to take around with them and then also sit them at their desk and connect up a monitor to it and use it like a bit like a desktop with the lid closed or even with the lid open here. And you can do it either way. I think it's going to be down to literally a matter of choice. What I would say is one of the big differences is obviously on the actual MacBook Pro, you are actually getting less ports on this in USB or Thunderbolt 5 ports. You only get the 3 ports obviously on this, what a Thunderbolt 5, and you get 3 Thunderbolt 5s on the back here, but you do get 2 additional USB ports on the rear. Both of them also have HDMI. You do have an SD card slot. You don't have an SD card slot. You have a gigabit Ethernet. You don't have a gigabit Ethernet. I think it's coming down to, like I said, it's the choices what you want to use it for. And I think one of the great things about the Mac Mini now is that you can take this out, like I said, chuck it in your bag, take it to a hotel room, plug it into a HDMI cable if there's a port there in your hotel room up to the TV, and then you could also take, say, a Magic Keyboard or a Magic Mouse or Bluetooth keyboard and mouse, and or even one with the dongle in the back to a USB-C port, and it will just work. And I think that's a great advantage with this day and age. It's so small and light, and you can just package it up. And then obviously the MacBook Pro will, you know, this is iconic, this machine, and it can do all the same tasks that this can do right here. And like I'll say to you again, I don't think there is a winner between both of them. Who is the best? I think the winner would be decided by you yourself in what your use case scenarios are going to be. Some people, the MacBook Pro is going to be better. Some people, to have a Mac Mini is going to be better for them. It's up to you completely. But with that though, guys, what are your thoughts? Which one would you pick? The MacBook Pro, or would you pick the Mac Mini? What one's better for your needs? Let me know in the comments below. And with that as well, guys, it's time to wrap up this video. So if you have enjoyed watching it, please do press the like button. Also, if you want to hear the latest Apple news, reviews and comparisons too, make sure you subscribe to this channel and also hit that notification bell. Until next time, guys, I'll see you really soon. Take care. Bye bye.